Statement by the Honorable Ablakwa, MP for North Tongue. You may read your statement now.
I'm most grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let's empathize with you for that rather sad.
That's many years ago. I only recall it because of the statement before.
So, Right Honourable Speaker, I'm profoundly grateful for the privilege to make this urgent statement on a matter of utmost national importance. It relates to the plight of Ghanaian students stranded abroad in an issue that has undermined the credibility of our nation's bilateral scholarship agreements with other countries and consequently tarnished Ghana's international image. Mr. Speaker, I speak of the government's failure through the Scholarship Secretariat to fulfill its fundamental mandate of providing bursaries to the country's exceptionally brilliant yet financially disadvantaged students, both within and outside the borders of our country. Right Honourable Speaker, I have been entrusted with the solemn duty to convey the desperate pleas of a multitude of Ghanaian students across the world who have reached out to me to narrate their ordeals. These young minds, brimming with potential, have found themselves mired in harrowing circumstances, a direct consequence of the government's lack of commitment to its obligations towards them. The cries of these students have echoed far beyond our borders, as evidenced by the embarrassing media reports from international press outlets such as the BBC and the Hungarian Conservative. These impartial sources have shed light on the grim realities confronting our Ghanaian students, painting a sobering picture of the government's neglect of their well-being. Mr. Speaker, some of these students who have reached out have painted a bleak portrait of their desperate situations. Many have been forced to take on additional work shifts, sacrificing precious time that should be used to focus on their studies, merely to cater to their most basic needs. In Chinese institutions, for example, our students have had to rely on the kindness of their Chinese peers, as their student visas strictly prohibit them from seeking employment, further exacerbating their plight. The Speaker, on the 24th of May this year, a multitude of Ghanaian students took to the streets in the Moroccan town of Rabat to voice their heart-wrenching grievances regarding the government's failure to disburse their stipends over the preceding 12-month period. Similarly, the narrative of students in Serbia mirrors this lamentable circumstance, as the allowances intended to sustain them have remained unpaid for 11 consecutive months. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, on the 4th of April 2024, the Ghana Students Association in Hungary issued a formal press statement drawing attention to the dire circumstances faced by 215 compatriots studying within the borders of Hungary. These students, it was reported, had endured the previous 6 months without the slightest measure of support from our national government. There are a dozen more instances where students across Europe, Asia, and America have been left abandoned. Mr. Speaker, it is with grave concern that I must address the alarming deterioration of Ghana's international image over the past years. Our nation's reputation has been tarnished as we have repeatedly failed to honor our bilateral scholarship agreements with other countries. A number of Ghanaian ambassadors and high commissioners have been officially contacted by their host governments on this deplorable situation. In 2016, the government of Hungary and Ghana signed an education cooperation agreement which enabled Ghanaian students to pursue bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in fields such as agriculture, engineering, natural sciences, business, and economics on scholarship in Hungary. Mr. Speaker, I, at the time, traveled to Budapest to negotiate and sign this bilateral agreement as the then Deputy Minister for Education in charge of tertiary education. Mr. Speaker, the Hungarian government has commendably expanded this scholarship scheme, accommodating about 100 Ghanaian students each year, a remarkable increase from the initial 50 students per year. Regrettably, Mr. Speaker, the government of Ghana has consistently failed to uphold its part of the agreement by neglecting to provide the additional stipends promised to Ghanaian students in Hungary. This egregious breach of our obligations marks of bad faith and risk a premature abrogation of the agreement if we do not swiftly take action to remedy the situation. The international community has taken note of this situation and which has undoubtedly undermined Ghana's respected image on the global stage. Mr. Speaker, we must take immediate steps to rectify this matter and demonstrate our commitment to honoring our international agreements, lest we jeopardize our standing and the educational opportunities available to our citizens. Right, Honourable Speaker, this Honourable House has diligently approved the annual budget estimates of the government, encompassing the expenditures of the Office of the Government Machinery, within which the budget of the Scholarship Secretariat is contained. It is worthy of note that between the fiscal years of 2020 and 2024, the budget allocation for the Scholarship Secretariat has witnessed a substantial increase of about 100 million Ghana cedis, rising from 200 million cedis in 2020 to 300 million cedis in 2024. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, as explicitly stated at page 114 of the 2022 budget statement and economic policy, the government reaffirmed its commitment to, quote, continue to support continuing students in Algeria, China, France, Germany, Hungary, Morocco, Russia, and Serbia under the bilateral scholarship schemes awards, and also support students under non-bilateral scholarship award schemes in Australia, Canada, China, Cuba, France, India, Morocco, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America, unquote. Regrettably, Mr. Speaker, these budgetary increases and governmental assurances have not translated into tangible improvements in the living conditions and academic experiences of our Ghanaian students abroad. Paradoxically, Mr. Speaker, even as the government made these reassurances in 2022, 2,000 Ghanaian students studying abroad on government scholarship were being threatened with official notices for the blockage of their access to lectures, libraries, and other vital learning activities by their respective educational institutions due to non-payment of tuition fees. Right, Honourable Speaker, I've observed with great admiration the fervent manner in which a number of colleagues in this House, members of civil society, and others in the media who have raised the plight of our students abroad. Mr. Speaker, may I use this opportunity to commend all those who, Mr. Speaker, have solidarized with our students, including the National Union of Ghana Students, the Pan-African International Students, and civil society organizations who have been unwavering in efforts to ensure that the government fulfills its solemn duty of caring for the well-being of our cherished students abroad. Right, Honourable Speaker, I humbly seize this moment to implore on the government to diligently fulfill its responsibilities and realign its priorities with utmost urgency. Mr. Speaker, the Registrar of the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, Mr. Kingsley Ajiman, stated on Joint News on the 3rd of June that the Ministry of Finance has released 60 million Ghana cedis for the stipends, academic user, and tuition fees of these students abroad. While this initiative is a step in the right direction, the students have still not received their stipends from latest checks. It is also imperative, Mr. Speaker, to stress that this announced release appears woefully inadequate to resolve the entire crisis. The situation is so precarious, Mr. Speaker, that some students have graduated without their stipends and therefore cannot receive their certificates as they remain stranded in foreign countries. Right, Honourable Speaker, may I use this esteemed platform to impress upon all our students who find themselves in this state of profound despondency to keep hope alive and have confidence in Parliament to stand with them until this unconscionable crisis is resolved once and for all. Mr. Speaker, I therefore ardently urge the government to expedite its action and ensure that all students abroad under the government scholarship program are swiftly and adequately catered for. Their well-being and academic progress must be top priority, for they are the future leaders and pillars of our nation. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I believe it is also time for government to heed this call and demonstrate its unwavering commitment to the holistic development and support of our esteemed students abroad. Their success is inextricably linked to the prosperity and progress of our beloved country. Mr. Speaker, we also need urgent reforms in the administration, selection, transparency, financing, and sustainability of Ghana government scholarship schemes. I hope that this House will explore concrete mechanisms to help end this nightmare confronting our fellow young Ghanaians abroad. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Colleagues, shall we agree to 5 minutes maximum for contribution? Leadership, is that acceptable? 5 minutes maximum. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 2 minutes, because we are all going home. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the maker of the statement, the ranking member for Foreign Affairs, for drawing attention of us, including government, to this, the plight of our brothers and sisters who found themselves outside this country, not at their own will, but at the will of all of us to undertake studies outside this country. Mr. Speaker, most of us have seen the footages coming from the international media houses, as well as social media, on the social media platform. The recent one I saw happens to come from Morocco, and in fact it was an eyesore that our brothers and sisters, especially the women who found themselves outside the shores of this country, being promised by government to support them, who found themselves, not having a place to even sleep. In fact, their leader even mentioned that some of his colleagues have been sacked or removed from their homes because they could not pay their rent. I asked myself, if it were to be my daughter or my son or my brothers and sisters, what would I have done better? We are in leadership. Whether you are in parliament or you are an executive or wherever you find yourself, we are in leadership. It's a leadership crisis. Crisis that needs solution. How do we find solution to this problem? This is not only the first time, Mr. Speaker. It has been occurring over and over that these unfortunate young children will go outside this country and we cannot even pay a stipend for them to be able to pay their rent and feed themselves. Some of them, if you are not careful, will find themselves doing other things. You find young girls, going to brothels and doing things that they are not supposed to be doing. It is no fault of theirs. It is because we, the leaders of this nation, have failed them. Mr. Speaker, how long can we continue with this? If we know that we cannot take care of them, why do we have to allow them to go? Recently, I was in UK, and one of the young ladies who had scholarship to study in one of the universities, masters in UK, said that, she just got a message from Scholarship Secretariat saying that her scholarship was forged and that she's not supposed to go to the UK. And she asked me, Honorable, how come that I pass through immigration, I show everything, and I receive my first stipend? Only for her to be told that, your documents were forged, and therefore return your first stipend and make sure that you return to Ghana. That Scholarship Secretariat will allow somebody to forge her papers and get to a school, and now she has been withdrawn from the school because Scholarship Secretariat has written to the school that she must withdraw. I mean, how can we continue doing this to ourselves? And as leaders, we are failing this nation. We are failing our brothers and sisters. We are failing the generations after us. And this is not good for the image of this country. Mr. Speaker, as I commend the maker of the statement, I also want to reiterate his commendation that we need an urgent reforms. Reforms not only in the administration of Scholarship Secretariat. Because when you put party apparatchiks there, they decide to do whatever they want to do. And nobody can hold them responsible. But if we have a proper laid down rules and regulations, how the leadership or the management of the Scholarship Secretariat and other government institutions are manage or send there, we will not have this kind of problem. And I'm sure there are other students who are enjoying because they might have some political, attachment to whatever they have. And so there must be reforms in the scholarship administration. Selection should be opened up. Even internally, Mr. Speaker, we were told that MPs were supposed to be part of the panels that will interview people. I attended one interview, and since then nobody has called me for an interview again. And so you only hear is that, the scholarship has been given to some people that you don't know. And when you check, they have one particular party colors. Can we continue like this? Is that what we are looking for in this country? That if you don't have a party color, you cannot have a scholarship? Hey, then where are we going in this country?